Due to the mining craze and memory prices, building a custom PC is more expensive than it should be. To combat some of these issues, AMD has released their new set of combat crates designed to give you a motherboard, GPU, and CPU for an affordable price. I was able to get my hands on one, and today we're going to take a look. When shopping for an AMD Combat Crate, you will notice that there are two configurations. One with a Ryzen 7 1700, the other with a Ryzen 5 1500. Both have an AMD B350 board and an MSI 8GB RX 580. So the only difference will be the CPU in each package and obviously the price. The 1700 system is currently going for around $699, while the Ryzen 5 system is only going for around $549. So that is a pretty big jump, but obviously if you're doing things outside of gaming, that Ryzen 7 1700 system might be better for you. But for most people who are looking to build this kind of PC, you're gonna wanna be doing a gaming build. So the Ryzen 5 is probably the best choice. And that's the one I have today that we're gonna take a look at. And at $549, you can see compared to the prices parted out individually on Amazon and Newegg, it is a very good value. You do save some money there, so that's nice. A lot of times you see these bundles and you're really actually not saving anything. So this actually does give you some savings with current pricing, and I don't know if they're gonna adjust it for future GPU fluctuations, but currently this is a good bargain. So here we have the crate. It comes in a really nice box with some subtle AMD logos and branding. On back, you can kind of see some of the components here. AMD logo on the side there, really nice. It slides right out there. There we go. So that's a sleeve. Then you have the actual box here. All you need to game. Slide that out. All right. So you slide it open. All right, it's time for the good part. 1, 2, and 3. So we have an MSI Tomahawk, MSI Tomahawk B350 motherboard. So that's nice there. An MSI Armor RX 580. So that's really cool. It's got the twin fans. Full-size card there, or about a full-size card, so that should be cool. Should stay nice and cool. And Ryzen 5 1600 right there. So you get all three of these for the price of, I guess what you would say at this point, a GTX 570 essentially, new. So that's gonna give you some nice power if you're gonna do some gaming. You should maybe potentially be able to do a little VR there at the end there. I know the 580 is not a VR beast, but obviously it is VR ready. You can do some VR gaming here. For components, the goal was to create a powerful mid-level system that took advantage of the Combat Crate and offered some room for flexibility while keeping the price under $1,000. I tried to actually keep it under $900, and I was able to do that. So you'll see the Combat Crate components on the left, and to the right, everything that I picked up. We have 8 gigs of Crucial Ballistic Sport, so that's gonna be 1 stick instead of 2. That'll give me some room for upgrades. Obviously, RAM is super expensive right now, so I didn't wanna go super crazy with the pricing. Also, I have an Intel SSD there. That's the 545S. That is not an NVMe drive. It's an M.2 SATA drive, so you save a little money. I picked it up for $79, so that's a good price there. Also, a Western Digital 1 terabyte drive for game storage, downloads, all that good stuff. That was only $59. The Corsair CX 650, that's a nice modular 650 watt power supply. You could definitely save some money here. This was only $59 plus a $20 mail-in rebate. But if you don't want to go through that hassle, there are a lot of cheaper alternatives. But I figured this power supply would be good and give you a decent amount of upgradability in the future. And for the case, obviously we have the ever popular NZXT S340 mid-tower. That's a good quality case that I was able to find brand new at Micro Center for around 50 bucks. So this is a really balanced system. Gives you some room for upgradability, especially with the RAM and the hard drives, but it should also provide solid performance when gaming or rendering, doing whatever you're gonna do. Now let's get everything unboxed and start the build. Okay, so I have all the core components unboxed now. You can see the GPU here. This is very interesting. The GPU appears to have a different fan on it than I've seen on many other full-size PCB cards. So I'm not sure if that was done to save money. I would imagine it probably was. We'll have to test the cooling performance, I guess, to see if there's any difference. I don't anticipate there being on a 580, but that's just interesting. You see a lot of PCB hanging off the top and the back side there. Obviously, once it's in a case, that's not really going to matter. This is technically a budget motherboard, but it looks really, really nice. I mean, it's got the nice, I guess, almost, it's not really camo, but the gray and black color scheme I think looks really good. You've got the dark gray here with red accents for the heat sinks, and then a nice brushed metal looking thing here for the chipset. That's really nice there. The board's pretty capable, M.2 slot there. Obviously your standard reinforced PCIe slot, so it's a very nice board with decent connectivity around back. You shouldn't have any issues connecting, setting up your system, and gaming, whether you want to do single or multi GPU systems. For the power supply, it's obviously your standard ATX power supply from Corsair. Nothing really exciting to see here. It is completely modular though, so you do get a fully modular power supply for that budget price, which is pretty nice there. We have our CPU here, the Ryzen 5 1600, so a nice 6-core CPU. We'll probably have to throw a nice little overclock on that there. And I'm going to obviously use the stock cooler that comes with it. These coolers are pretty good, so I'm going to test out this configuration first. If I need to, I obviously can bump up to water cooling or a larger fan at any point. And our 2 drives here, we'll go ahead and unpack those when the time is right. So pretty simple system components. I haven't opened up the case yet. Let's do that now. If you're looking for a sub $100 case, the S340 is a good option. Like I said, I got this for a pretty good price. These are really nice cases. They're flexible. They have mounting for radiators if you wanted to do water cooling, so on and so forth. And this is the black and red version. There's obviously, as you see on the box, the white and black, and I believe there's some other colors as well. But a really nice, solid case that you can kind of grow with a little bit. So I figured it would be a good choice, especially if you can pick it up for around 60, 50 bucks. Let's crack it open. So very, very nice. They have a nice matte black and red color scheme going on here with a tempered glass side panel. So it's not the smallest case ever, but it's got enough space to do what we're trying to do. See around back, you've got all your connectivity, I/O, PCI Express ports or expansion ports there. PSU goes down here. Around top, you have a built-in fan. It does come with that fan as well as I/O and some ventilation. And on this side, there's really nothing there. And the front is just a nice matte black. So it just looks really smooth, a good looking case that's reasonably flexible. And as we saw earlier, or we discussed earlier, affordable. So let's get the build assembled and we'll see how it looks. So internally, you see the S340 is pretty nice. I've got two 2.5-inch drives there. The hard drive, or I'm sorry, the PSU shroud, so it hides the power supply and cables can kind of route up here and back here and stuff. You can pass through to the motherboard there. Mounting for liquid cooling, you put a res there and something like that. Obviously there are fan mount points here and here up top as well. So it's a really nice case, fan mounts up front. There are also, you can see there, there's also filters there. There's filters on the bottom as well. So it's a nice little case. I mean, it does a really good job for an affordable price. So let's get in there and do the build, see how it turns out. So it looks pretty clean so far. Obviously it should. There's not much really in here yet. There's not much going on with the case yet. So the minimal components that I'm using, it should stay looking pretty clean as it does right now. Obviously this case can accommodate a lot more stuff than I'm putting in it, but this should be good for now. All right, so the system is essentially done. You see here internally, it is very simple. You have your GPU, CPU with cooler, fan there, and there's really not much else. The case does a good job of hiding a lot of the cables, which you'll see around back there. So not the best cable management job. I really didn't do much at all. You can kind of just tuck everything down here and it works very nicely. Obviously it does come with zip ties, so you can tighten this up if you really wanted to. You see the hard drive there, the 1 terabyte. And it's just a really good, simple system. So this is gonna look nice. Obviously, there's no RGB LEDs or anything like that, so that's something to consider. If you want a little flash, maybe pick up a set for like 20 bucks. There's a lot of connectivity in here. There's a lot of places where you could mount them, so that would probably look pretty good, especially if you had something up front or some fans there, some RGB fans, something that would probably look pretty cool. So let's get the panels on and finish her up. rookie mistake. I did not realize it was on, there was plastic wrap on both sides. Kind of forgot, so you guys get a double peel. So that is the build. I think it turned out really nicely, and to be able to build a system that is VR capable and also good at productivity, whether that be rendering or just doing daily tasks, for under $900, I think that's really special and kind of cool. The AMD Combat Crate is a really good value. I was surprised. Initially, I didn't think it would be, but when you look at the pricing and the performance you can get from a system like this, it's pretty good. I think the Combat Crate would be ideal for first-time builders or people who are building within a tighter budget. While my system came in at under $900, you could cut the cost on yours by removing other components or selecting different stuff. You don't need an SSD and a hard drive. You could just get a standard, platter drive for now, and then come back later with an NVMe M.2 drive or SSD, so on and so forth, when you have time to upgrade. So there's a lot of upgradability here. I think this is a really nice mid to entry level system for first time builders or experienced builders who are just looking for something that is a little more affordable. So let me know what you guys think of the Combat Crate and the build below in the comments. Also, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be fantastic. I'll drop links for everything that you saw in the video today below in the description. As always, I'm Jay. This is Tech Everything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.